Good morning, everybody. This is Ferrum Football First and 10. I am your host, Jordan Mann, and alongside me again is head coach Rob Grande.
How you doing, Jordan?
Doing good. Good to see you, Coach.
Good to see you.
Last Saturday, Ferrum dropped their non-conference game at Shenandoah, 53-33. Rookie Jordan Mann rushed for 147 yards and a touchdown. It was a second straight 100-yard game and earning him USA South Offensive Rookie of the Week for consecutive weeks. Also, Johnny White had 121 yards and a TD on 3 catches. It's a little Randy Moss at Dallas several years ago. 3 catches, 163 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
It's not a bad day.
Yeah, it's not a bad day. And then defensive lineman Al Matthews had a pick 6. He 30 yards in the second half to close in the deficit. So, Coach, take me back to the first quarter. Shenandoah scores. They're up 7-0, and then they do an onside kick.
Well, it's well executed by them, and poor planning by us. And I'm in charge of our special teams, which we need to improve on. And but at that point in the game, they picked a spot to take a chance, and it paid off for them and created an extra possession for them. And they actually did it twice, a variation of what I call mortar kick to a second-level guy that didn't get handled by us again, and created too many possessions in the first quarter and created too big of a deficit for us to overcome.
Yeah, and you speak of the deficit. You guys were down 34-7 at half, but what was your basically halftime speech for the viewers back home? I know there's probably some colorful words in there, but what was the halftime speech down 34-7 on the road?
We had to play cleaner football. The score is the score, but we didn't play very good penalty-wise, special teams-wise, and just winning and losing is a byproduct of playing better football. And we couldn't control the first 30 minutes, but wanted them to come out and play a better brand of football and compete and take the first possession and score and see where it goes from there. And they came out and did that offensively when we got the ball, and then Al's big play, the lineman dream, and
that is.
It's, regardless of score, he's a kid who plays no scoreboard in mind. He plays the way you want him to play, next play, and a great opportunity. Billy Higgins had a good pressure on the quarterback, and the ball spit out sideways to Al, and he took it back to get us in the ball game mid-third quarter and put us down by 13 after a rough start.
Yeah, that's what leading into when talking about going in the second half or going into halftime, you have your adjustments at halftime, and being a team on the road, it's always good to see the fight, like you said. Coming out of halftime, we drove down the field, Taylor hit Guy for a touchdown to make it 34-14, and then, like you said, 26 seconds later, Matthews gets that ball right in his hands for a pick 6, and after being down 34-7, it's all of a sudden a 2-score game on the road. I mean, that's what you want, just in a matter of quick, too. I mean, that was – everything turned really quickly. And also, what corrections – you're talking about special teams and defensively as well. What are the coaching staff looking into? Some changes?
Yeah, I mean, it's schematically not a dramatic change. Looking at some personnel, looking at reps some guys are having that are starters, and trying to get the right mix of second-team guys, some guys that can spell some people on those units, and just perform better in our coverage game, and that's a ongoing process right now.
Right.
Identify our players. We've got a young group of kids who we don't know as much about, that we're trying to see where they can fit in and help us.
Yeah, and just recap, like I said, Mann had 147 on the ground with the TD. Tyler English came in for Harvey Taylor, who was injured. I'll ask you about that later, but Tyler English came in and he threw for 68 yards and a TD, and he ran for 44 and a touchdown. How did you like his performance as a freshman coming off the bench?
Yeah, I mean, he had silver dollar eyes, going in for the first time, and he settled in, missed some reads and keys, but he's an athletic kid. He's got a live arm, and just tremendous spirit out there. He's done a great job in practice, and got an opportunity, in that second half to make some plays, and did some things with his legs and put the ball downfield. A long one to John there, was a big play too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and we touched on Al Matthews. his interception. He also had a sack and 4 total tackles. And along the defensive line, you had Percival Burvine with 6 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 for a loss, and a blocked extra point. And then Montel Lee, just the beast that he is, 3 tackles, 3 all for a loss, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. So like I talked to you beforehand, that's 5 sacks from your defensive line plus a forced fumble, plus 2 turnovers, a pick 6, a forced fumble, or potentially, and then the block extra point. I mean, that's active hands and winning the trenches.
Yep, and that's where the game starts, and we got to do a better job of the next 2 levels. But those guys, along with the other players there, with Coach James and Coach Sproles working with them, have really bought into some things, and it was good to see Purcell's been working at it and really had a big game for us up front. And obviously Al and Montel have been, you know, kind of a stable set of guys up there, and we've got some good productivity from that unit for sure.
Yeah, you have. I mean, coming in, I know second game of the season, but it's nice to see both sides of the ball too. I mean, Harvey Taylor, you know what he's doing on a day-in, day-out basis at QB, and then Brian Mann, he has just been a hoss in the backfield, as well as Johnny White receiving touchdowns, and Chris Guy, that's his second straight game with the receiving TD as well. And so going back on Harvey Taylor, I know him and Mann left with injuries. Would you like to say the
Yeah, I mean, they're just football bumps and bruises, and Harvey got hit in the Emory game and re-aggravated something in his throwing arm, which was nothing major. Just at the time, needed to protect him and do what's right for the team to put Tyler in, and Tyler, like I said, performed. He gave us a chance in the fourth quarter to cut the lead to 13 again with about 10 minutes left, and Brian's just when you carry the ball, people want to hit you, so you're going to get dinged up, and but he's going to be fine and ready to roll Saturday.
Yeah, I joked last First and 10 episode saying that the ice about to be his best friend after carrying the ball so much. And now it really might be his best friend having all the ding-ups. Now, taking a turn looking ahead against Hampden-Sydney, what are your 3 keys to winning the ball game for Ferrum?
Well, they're Ferrum oriented. Hampden-Sydney's a very good team. Coach Favorite's done it the right way for 17 years and been very successful. But it really comes back to us and playing better in the special teams game, limiting penalties. We've been penalized far too much in the first 2 games, and shoring up some things on the back end of our defense, and continue offensively to grow our run game and bring along the passing game that takes timing and takes opportunity. So I'd say penalties, special teams, and shoring up some things on the back end of the defense. But it's more about us, in my opinion, in terms of being successful Saturday. And I know Hampden-Sydney's going to be a good opponent, and they're going to be prepared to battle with us as well.
I know it's still midweek, and maybe you don't want to give it out, but that's fine. But you think Harvey Taylor and Brian Mann will play this weekend?
That's the plan.
Okay, cool. And giving info to the viewers back home, Hampden-Sydney comes off of a loss 45-27 to Christopher Newport last Saturday, where their quarterback was 26 of 42 for 274 yards and 2 touchdowns. And they had a receiver with 6 catches and 100 yards. That's Carter Cunningham. And like you said, with y'all are making adjustments. But if the front 4 can put that pressure and harass Cobb, I really like our chances of winning that ball game. And the game will be at, where was it at?
Salem,
yeah, because we're not playing here nor there. It's a neutral site, yeah. So it'll be at Salem at 1 p.m. It'll be Hampden-Sydney versus your Ferrum Panthers. And I am Jordan Mann. Coach Rob Grande, thank you.
No problem.
This is Ferrum Football First and 10.